Hello, what's up out there in football land? It's me, Sonia, and I'm here for another edition of All Things Football from a Lady's Perspective. We are beginning week 12, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight, Thursday night matchup begins week 12, so this is going to be a very condensed version of this episode. There were quite a few upsets this past week, and doubtful to me, my Panthers lost to the Falcons. I was totally not expecting that. Um, but as they say, it's anything goes, any given Sunday. And so at this point, I'm just trying to preserve us in the wild card. Now, of course, everyone thinks that the New Orleans Saints are the team to beat in the NFC South. The San Francisco 49ers, they got their first loss last week. So they're definitely contenders for the NFC. The Rams have completely fallen off the map. Early on we were saying that they were definitely contenders for the Super Bowl, but they're not anymore. And the wild card is all tied up with the Seattle Seahawks, Philadelphia Eagles. So basically the teams that are at the top of their divisions have secured those playoff spots. There's a lot of stuff going on. Antonio Brown apparently has tweeted an apology to Mr. Kraft. I don't know. Right now I'm wondering, like, okay, are you just out of bill money, Antonio, because Christmas is coming up, you want to take care of those kids? Or are you genuinely apologetic? Like maybe you just had a change of mind, or is something else really going on here? Because you all know he went on a Twitter tirade and talked about he never wanted to play in the league. He was done and this, that, and the third. And now he's apparently tweeting apologies. So let me do, you guys already know who won and stuff like that, but I want to talk real briefly about the Panthers-Falcons game because I was there. And it was so funny because the 96-year-old gentleman that played the national anthem, apparently the fighter jets did not even fly over. So my joke was they didn't want to waste fuel on a scrimmage game. We only use the fighter jets when it's NFL contenders. So basically, you guys will see me look off a couple times. It's for my dog, for Lawson. Lawson, this is always the case. Excuse me. So anyway, so basically my questions around the playoffs, and also I'm interested in knowing, for those of you who do not have teams that are in the playoffs, who will you be rooting for since your team is not going? And the top 5 contenders for the top drafts. The Falcons are now in number 5 for the draft for next year. Bengals, Browns, all of those people, they are pretty much up there for. So for those of you who have that top draft, since you are no longer playoff contenders, who are you hoping to get from the college world that will put your team on the winning spot? Now, I'm going to let you all know my personal opinion. Teams like the New York Giants and Cleveland Browns, even Cincinnati Bengals, who I've told you guys are my AFC squad, I have no words as to what to expect, because every year they get these good drafts and they just continue to get good drafts pretty much because they don't go to the playoffs the next year. But who do you guys have as your Super Bowl matchups? Are you taking the Patriots for the AFC? Are you yeah, pretty much the Patriots are pretty much the only solid contender for the AFC. The Titans look really good. The Colts looked okay until Jacoby Brissett, went out with an injury, but they're okay. And who do you have for the NFC? Now, that's going to be a tough one because everybody's rooting for a really good matchup, and it's tough with the 49ers, the Saints, Panthers, I think, are still a pretty solid contender if Cam comes back in the postseason, especially. And that's Dallas Cowboys. They're definitely a good contender. But who do you guys think is going to rep the NFC? So if the AFC is a given with the Patriots, then who do you guys think reps the NFC. So drop your comments below and let me know who you think is going to the Super Bowl in Miami. It's going to be my birthday weekend, and it's going to be nice and warm in February. Now, some other things I want to talk about. The Cleveland Browns versus Pittsburgh Steelers game, absolutely insane as to what occurred between Mr. Rudolph and Mr. Miles from the Cleveland Browns. I have personally never seen a fight like that. Now, there's a lot of people that argue with me about it, and they were like, well, it's football. This dude ripped Kyle's helmet off and hit him in the head. Like, he could have been concussed. He could have been killed. Anything. He could have, I know it's football, but come on. Let's have a little bit of sportsmanship. Of course, he's suspended for the remainder of the season. And actually, the words were indefinitely. So we're not for sure if this is going to linger over into next season or not. Mr. Pouncey from the Steelers was suspended, I think, 1 or 2 games for kicking one of the Browns or something when it all happened. But it was an absolute mess. So I'll be following that. Of course, both teams were fined $250,000 and just an absolute mess. So I think that's pretty much all I have, except I didn't run down the scores. New Orleans won their game, so they are now only 8-2 because they only lost to the Falcons and to the 49ers when the 49ers played them. So that's going to be interesting to follow up. I will personally be in New Orleans this weekend at the Saints-Panthers game. I'm going to be in the end zone, very, very, very close to the end zone. Like, as a matter of fact, my seat is in End Zone Plaza, so I'm level with the playing field. So I'm hoping to get some good pictures. And please follow us on All Things Football from a lady's perspective. Just Google it. Google me. You can Google me, Sonja, Sonja Anderson, Anderson. And any lady fans of the Carolina Panthers can follow us on those platforms as well. I will be back on here once I get back from the Saints game. I'm going to try to do a quick show before the Thanksgiving break. Now, the Thanksgiving games are definitely going to be interesting as New Orleans faces the Falcons here in Atlanta. And the Falcons literally play every one of the division, and the entire division just plays the entire division for the NFC South the entire month of November. So we're just going to follow up on all that. Thanks for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen, and have a very great evening.